Heading into last year's NBA draft, Aleksej Pokusevski was clearly the most intriguing prospect. I mean, he moved like someone several inches shorter than his height, but he also looked like a 14-year-old cross-country runner. He then also showcased the skill set of a guard at some times, but then we wondered, what actually was he? Till this day, we still don't really know what he is, but we were enamored with the idea of a 7-footer being able to play make, being able to shoot off the dribble from three, from the mid-range, being able to make fancy passes and do all of these things, yet still be the size of, like I mentioned, a 14-year-old cross-country runner, whether he could develop into someone big enough to hold his own against other bigs in the league, or whether he could be quick enough and swift enough and handle the ball well enough to be able to go up against other guards in the league. There's definite question marks over the actual practicality of his skill set and his size and just everything that had to do with Pokusevski. But in terms of potential, in terms of intrigue, yeah, there just wasn't anyone more intriguing, because I think you've seen at the NBA level, if you've watched much of him, he's an interesting player. He's a player that we haven't seen much of, and he's a very rare kind of player. Whether that turns out to be a star or nothing is yet to be seen, but I think the Thunder of all teams are definitely the team that are giving him the best chance to succeed, and are definitely an organization that are pretty much perfect for any player that are along the lines of Pokusevski, because of the way they build their players and because of the way they're giving them opportunities in different situations. Now, before I go any further, if you could drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated. It's free. It just helps out a lot, so that would be cool. I make content like this every single day, so doing so would just help out a lot. Now, I've talked about not claiming to be a draft expert, which I definitely am not, but I did watch a fair bit of film on Aleksej Pokusevski heading into the draft. I mean, as many clips as you can find for someone playing in the second league in Greece and in gyms that look worse than most American high school gyms, but I still watched a lot of film, and nonetheless, I was impressed with what I saw. So I wasn't shocked in the slightest when I saw what I've seen from him at the NBA level. The production either hasn't shocked me, because I saw what he did in Greece just a year ago. But before we even talk about what he's done at the NBA level and what's seen people get pretty excited with the prospect of what he could be going forward, we have to talk about what he was doing just last year and why he was a player that went at 17, considering the numbers he was putting up, which were not impressive. The numbers last year were not too much different to this year. He's not been someone that's been putting up good, productive numbers. No, he's someone that's done a lot of things that have excited people. I mean, last year there were multiple occasions where he would run the break off a rebound and stop on a dime and pull up from a mid-range spot. That's just not something a usual 7-footer does without looking like they're doing the floor is lava challenge and struggling to dribble the ball, or looking like their shoelaces are tied together. You know the ones, when you see JaVale McGee or someone like that run up the floor, it just looks like their shoelaces are tied together and they're about to trip. Although Pokusevski's handle can tighten up, obviously he can get a bit stronger and a number of other things, he just looks fluid when he's dribbling the ball. That's just something you can't say for most 7-footers, and that's what's so intriguing. Another thing he could do is make passes. He can play make. He can find cutters. He can drive at the defender and then kick out to shooters, which is good for when people try to push him off the three-point line, which they're obviously not doing as much at the NBA level because they realize he's not the most efficient three-point shooter. But eventually, if that shot comes, then his ability to fake it, drive at the defense, and then kick it out is the next step that he'll probably take, because he's already shown the ability to do so. And then going forward, his ability to make passes from the post when he puts on a bit of size, I think is another thing that could be promising defensively. At least he has the idea of switchability, given, like I said, he moves his feet really well for someone his size. He can also block shots as well. The big thing is obviously the fact that he's got no strength or muscle. If he goes up against a big, regardless of him being 7 foot and being able to contest their shots from a height perspective, he's just going to get overpowered. But he can come over and help defense, and we've seen that at the NBA level, blocking about a shot a game, which is pretty impressive for rookies. I think he leads all rookies in shots blocked per game. So that's another thing that he's shown that's been impressive. Now then, if we just look at what Poku's done in the NBA thus far, this is why I'm confident the Thunder are the ideal team for him to reach his full potential, because before the draft, Poku's agent, or someone from his camp, I don't exactly know who it was, said that he wanted to make sure that when he got drafted, he wouldn't spend the next 2 years in Europe like other project players and get lost in the shuffle, get lost in the system. So they wanted him to come straight to America and straight into the system, straight into the NBA or the G League level. And that's exactly why the Thunder are a perfect system, because they're not looking to win. They are winning though. That's the unique thing. They're able to put him out 30 minutes a night. Over the last 7 games, he's averaging about 31 minutes a night, which on the season, when you look at other rookies, that would be second. Or even over the last 7 games, that would be fifth. So he's putting up those kind of numbers from a minutes perspective. He's playing close games. In those 7 games, 4 of those games have been wins. A lot of those games have come down to the wire, and they're not taking him out of the game. They don't care if they're up by 3, they're down by 10, they're up by 10, it just doesn't matter. They're just going to keep him in the game regardless and give him the chance to make shots down the stretch, make plays down the stretch, and recognize what needs to happen to win a game of NBA basketball. Another thing to note is Mark Daigneault, the coach of the Thunder, who's done a fantastic job. They have no right to win games when it's just Pokusevski, Moses Brown, Kenrich Williams, and those guys without SGA, without George Hill, without Al Horford. There's just no right for the Thunder to win those kind of games, and they've consistently seemed to be able to do it. Mark Daigneault deserves some respect for it, but another thing to note with Mark Daigneault is he was a coach of the G League team for quite some years, so he knows what can happen if you spend some time playing in the G League, which is exactly where they sent Poku. And I didn't look at Poku going to the G League as like, oh, he's terrible for the NBA. He'll never play at the NBA level. He's just going back to get some confidence, to get some reps in. And Mark Daigneault is going to have a good understanding between what translates at the G League level and what translates at the NBA level, which is why I think he's such a good coach for someone as raw as Poku, because he's had so much experience in the G League, and now he's building up that experience in the NBA, that he's giving him an opportunity to translate between the two. And when you just talk about the minutes he's playing and the crucial minutes he's playing, the fact that they're contributing to wins as a result, the confidence that he can gain from playing 30 minutes a night, whether he's shooting 2 of 10 or 5 of 10, it just hasn't mattered. They don't waver from where they want to be. They keep him in the game, and in the end, he's figuring things out. He's making some defensive plays. Like I mentioned, he's blocking shots. He's getting in the right spots. His shot has improved over the last 7 games. He's shooting 31% from 3, 31% from the field, which seems terrible, and it isn't great at all. But you look at what it was before he came back from the G League, which it was 25% from the field, 20% from 3. He wasn't rebounding the ball as well. He wasn't shooting the ball as well. He wasn't scoring. Pretty much every single attribute of his game has improved drastically just over half a season. And that's what you're looking for. I don't think Poku's someone that you're expecting. I know Poku's not someone that you're expecting to be a good NBA player within the first 2 years of him coming to the league. You wouldn't have signed him if you just wanted a 3-and-D guy that was ready to go and had a pretty low ceiling but a pretty high floor. Now, he's someone with a high ceiling and probably a lower floor, but he's already showing that his shot's improving, he's getting better on defense, he's showing more of an ability to play make at this level as well, he's rebounding the ball well, averaging 8 rebounds a game over the last 7 games. Is his efficiency terrible? Is it going to continue to stay terrible? Yeah, probably. Has he shown he can hit pull-up mid-range shots? Has he shown defensive versatility and an ability to block shots? Has he shown he can pull up from 3, do a number of things, play make fancy passes behind the back, and to make simpler reads as well? Yeah, he's shown all of those things, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking if some of this skill set that he showed in a much lower league last year could translate to the NBA. And although the efficiency numbers are bad, sometimes he looks lost on the court. In terms of those skill sets translating to the NBA, he's getting his shot off fine. He's showing that he can hit the mid-range shot. He's showing that his dribble isn't terrible. He does need to tighten up on it, and obviously he needs to put on some more size, but he's showing he can block shots. He can come over and help defense and make the right plays. All of these glimpses that you were looking for are definitely there. The numbers aren't, but the Thunder are in a good situation where they just don't need to worry about the numbers. For them, it realistically doesn't really matter if they win 5 of the next 30 games, but they could also win 12 of the next 30 games, 15 of the next 30 games, and either one would be good for his development and the Thunder's development, which is why they've put him in such a good situation, because regardless of how he's shooting, regardless of how he's playing, he's getting 30 minutes a night. He's playing in a team that's winning games as well, and he's also encouraged to shoot. He's encouraged to make mistakes. You look at these players that have so much potential and are seen as these project kind of players with all these different kind of things they can do, and people will often pigeonhole them into shooting the 3-ball and setting screens and playing 10 minutes a night. How are you going to develop into that kind of player if that's what you're doing? Because going forward, the idea of you as a player is the fact that you can handle the ball. That's what Mark Daigneault's been able to do. He's put the ball in his hands. He's averaging around 35 touches a game, which is around 12th for all rookies and pretty much exclusively behind guards. He's even getting opportunities as a pick and roll ball handler. Again, are any of these things he's doing effective for the team? Not particularly. It's probably a negative on the team and probably will be for the next couple of years. But what it could be for the future is something, and it's worth giving it a try because, like I mentioned, some teams will just, shoot a three, play defense, and set a screen, come out after 5 minutes, come out after you make one mistake, and just lose all your confidence. Now, the Thunder are doing a good job of just throwing him in there. If you shoot 5 shots, if you miss all of them, keep shooting. If you turn the ball over 3 times, keep trying to playmate, keep trying to dribble the ball up the floor, keep trying to see what you can do at the NBA level and then see what you need to work on going forward. The Thunder are just putting him in the right situation, and I think this is why this franchise is doing so well, and it's why this franchise continues to surprise people, because he's not the only one getting put in a situation that's incredibly beneficial for him, but he's just someone that was the most interesting to me because he's clearly one of the most high upside prospects in the draft. And I think if there's a team that's going to get the most out of him, it's definitely OKC. We've already seen what they've done with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Theo Maladone's now coming through and looking really good. Darius Bazley's shown signs of being good. Moses Brown comes in and plays an impact role. Isaiah Roby. Everyone seems to come in and play their role well, but also get a bit more extended time doing something extra because although you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's carrying a huge offensive load, he's not a ball hog. He's happy to get other people involved, and often he's missing games. There'll be times where it'll be Pokusevski, Moses Brown, Isaiah Roby, Lou Dort, Theo Maladone out on the floor, which means someone's going to have to dribble the ball. Someone's going to have to play make. And although it will look not very good at times, it also gives them an opportunity to do all of those things, which a lot of other teams aren't giving their players that opportunity to do. Now, I have no idea what Poku's going to turn out to be at the NBA level, but I do know if there's a team, if there's a franchise that are going to give him the best chance to reach the ridiculous potential he has given his size, given his ability to handle the ball, play make, shoot the ball, and do all of those things, then it's definitely the OKC Thunder. If you did enjoy the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Have a good day. Catch you next time. Bye.